Hey, what is up, guys? So we are back with another video, and if you directly came from the proper Excel video, this is actually a full version conversation of that video. Just because I felt like a 3-minute video didn't do its justice, as the conversation went really deep into the story of how this post got started, the untold lore of Christian battle rap, who are the four horsemen, and also the fruit and testimonies that have come out of this type of what I would call niche and interesting form of mission work. I definitely wouldn't turn down this video, as I got a lot of gems out of this, and so that's why I decided to post the full version of this conversation in addition to the short video. I got a couple more videos to bang out before the year ends, but in the meantime, enjoy this conversation. I'm just gonna let you flow. So don't worry if you mess up or whatever it is.
Hey, you good, bro? Hey, man, look, I'm a podcaster. This is natural, man. We good.
Okay then.
You ask a question, you just tell me when to stop talking.
Okay, awesome, man. Okay then. I guess the first thing, man, I definitely wanted to get to ask is, what was the history of Christian battle rap? Who kicked it off? Because I don't know if it was you guys who initially got into it, or maybe you guys just made the concept of a Christian battle rapper blow up. But I guess from your knowledge, what was the history of Christian battle rap?
Yeah, so I would say the history of Christian battle rap is actually kind of thick. So if you look at early cross movement records, songs, and then you hear the Rough Riders anthem, and then you hear Deuce's song on his album, it's very, very similar. And you're what was the lyric? I'm trying to do the actual correlation. Oh my gosh, I can't think of a lyric, but as you listen to the tracks that they're doing, it's very responsive and battle rap-esque to say this is the Christian response to what you're saying. So on track, they were initially the first Christian battle rappers. In fact, any Christian rapper that is addressing something from a Christ stance is battling the secular culture. So whether or not it's being done on stage, to enter the stage of hip hop, Christian rappers were battle rappers at that time. So any early Christian rappers were coming for the kingdom of hip hop. So to present a Christian worldview within hip hop is to essentially make a stance / attack, because you're saying something that's either along with the general morality or countercultural. And anything countercultural is an attack because it's against culture, counter, right? Now, somebody who actually grew up around cross movement and was on the street when they were doing evangelical ministry, evangelistic. Let me say that, because the evangelical word, but evangelistic ministry, I was seeing them literally freestyle on the streets as Christians and rapping, right? So fast forward, you then you start hearing word of propaganda and the tunnel rats, right? They were actually battle rapping as Christians in a different format, because they weren't identifying as Christian battle rappers. They were just Christians who entered the battle rap scenes, similar to how Tim Ross did as well. They were just Christians that were clean as opposed to cursing, and they represented what they considered to be a Christian in the industry. Then moved down the line within the era of smack and battle rap in the more modern sense, with the acapella format, pre-written, I'm saying 3 rounds versus somebody that you're going to go against. The Saga enters the scene as this anomaly of somebody who is blatantly and explicitly proclaiming the gospel of Jesus Christ on the URL, most respected battle rap platform, stage. Shifted the entire narrative. And so he gets into it. I get inspired by it. Now, mind you, before I even entered battle rap, I remember communicating to Dylan Chase 7 years before Saga. I saw Saga. I said, "Hey, Dylan, I feel like the Lord's calling me to be a battle rapper." He said, "What's that look like?" I said, "I have no idea." And Dylan said, "I'm going to pray for you." That was 7 years before I even saw the Saga. 7 years later, I see him and I'm like, that's it. We can do it. And this is what it can look like. It inspired me to then go to my local league and compete. I did that. First thing I did was I messaged the Saga like, "Hey, bro, you inspired me. Just want to let you know, bro." So when I say Sensei Saga, I don't say that metaphorically. I say it literally. I don't mind bowing and mind saying, "Yo, this is OG to me," because I'm a disciple of what he's done. And I don't mind being called a disciple. I don't mind being called a little homie. Because to me, he inspired a movement. And I submit to the fact that, like, yo, there's things I can still learn. And I love being able to pull from things that he done and how he teaches within that aspect. So that truly is Sensei Saga to me. I don't mind saying that. It doesn't take any of my masculinity, doesn't take away from any of my heart, to take any of my service, right? So I then message people like A Ward and message people like Loso, like, hey, bro, y'all need to do this. Because my first time battling was actually versus Loso. Rapzilla Hot 16 contest, first round. I get in there and spit some bars. Loso gets in there and spit some bars.
Where you was this, so I can go watch this one.
Jeez, you're talking about, oh man, I've been battling for a decade now and some change.
I'm pretty sure
So
if I type it up, I'll find it. Yeah.
maybe 2014, 15.
Okay. All right. But okay, keep going. Sorry.
2013. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the very first Rapzilla Hot 16 contest, and Loso was the winner of it ultimately. So I started battle rapping. First thing I said, Loso, bro, go ahead and join. But before I even told Loso to join, I told A Water to join, because I'm like, bro, I know you do music and stuff, but fam, you gonna be a fire battle rapper, right? Years later, you know what I'm saying? He ends up doing it. Loso ends up doing it. I'm like, hey, why don't we all just join together as a collective and call ourselves the Four Horsemen? You know what I'm saying? And because they love wrestling, I love like biblical concepts, a warning of the end times, a warning of the judgment, right? That's what the Four Horsemen are a representation of. The Four Horsemen aren't evil entities. The Four Horsemen are the Lord's horsemen. I think because they show up during times that are tough and tribunal, like tribulation, we make that evil, when really the Four Horsemen are commissioned by the Lord himself, and the Lord himself is one of the fifth one, right? And so I just thought it'd be a good representation, and so we end up calling ourselves the Four Horsemen. So I was kind of like the glue, but the inspiration was the saga, the energy was Loso, and then the icon was A Ward. you know.
Crazy. That's crazy. I love that you went through that history. So then the next thing, and by the way, I didn't think Saga was that, like, I didn't think he was older than you. I thought to me he looks young, but I didn't think he was that old, man.
About the same age.
Okay,
It's about age. It's about seniority.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. It's not an age thing at all. Like I can. It takes humility to be discipled by somebody who's older than you. I mean, younger than you.
yeah,
It takes humility to recognize, yo, man. Like even though I'm 35 years old, man, you 30 years old and you killing it in the finance game, bro. Can I learn under you? Can you teach me more about budgeting? Can you teach me more about how to be a better steward of my finances? Because even though I'm older than you got more wisdom in this area. And that's the thing, man. When it comes to discipleship, bro, like I really do think people just gotta start being able to be in a position to humble themselves, to be able to serve, to be able to position yourself in a way to say, "Hey, fam, you got this. You got this, OG. You got this, Sensei." You know what I'm saying? And I think I think men are ashamed to submit. And I don't think it's a bad thing. So, yeah, we're about the same age, but I just understand their seniority there.
okay, okay then. So then, man, I guess like this next question, hopefully it wasn't overlapping with the first question, but what was the concept behind Christian battle rap? And I especially want you to explain this question to like somebody who's just like a babe, like who's new to even, because people will drift off into like the worst possible thing about Christian battle rap. I'll run into comments like that sometimes, but yeah, no, like if you will have the opportunity to explain to someone who's freshly new, like what is the concept behind Christian battle rap? Because it's something foreign to them.
Yeah, if you look at Paul standing in the synagogues, having people come through and he debating them, different philosophers, different people, like this is for the people, And I think that when you think about battle rap as a debate format, what I do is I don't attack the person per se. I attack the worldview, because when you go to the worldview, you're going beyond just the flesh. You're going beyond just the individual that's in front of you. I don't got to mention or dig up your information and talk about how you was a terrible father and all this stuff. I'm like, yo, fatherhood as a example for the culture. What does it mean? As the figure you are, is this a net positive for what we're doing and what we even want? And I can always relate any aspect of morality, culturally back to biblically, right? And so Christian battle rap is something that allows the Christian worldview and perspective to enter into hip hop. And when you talk about hip hop itself as a form of expression, Christians should have always been involved in it, because it is an expression and we are allowed and should be expressing as well. As countercultural as we may be to the status quo or to the standard, it doesn't mean we don't have the right to express. I think it's just Christians taking up space in a expressive art form.
And then that'll bring me to the next part, which is like, I mean, like, what was the space and scene like during those times, especially because, I mean, like looking at a lot of these clips, you're in some pretty like rough environments, hostile environments. When I was, especially when I was doing research, on like Keyshawn Furlow's videos, I ended up like coming across a couple of like your videos and other guys' battle videos where it's like girls are twerking, like dudes are just like wilding out, just the craziest stuff. But what was the space and scene like during those times to be a Christian, especially in that environment?
Man, look, I tell people like this: you can never judge a culture from the outside. You just can't.
Mm.
If you do homeless ministry, you're going to smell homeless. If you're a shepherd, you're going to smell like sheep, right? And so if I'm a battle rapper, I'm going to go to church on Sunday morning smelling like weed and cigarettes because I was in the environment where they were smoking weed and smoking cigarettes all night. And
Mhm.
sometimes I would walk into church, I forget to take my wristband off from the night before. I'm like, oh snap, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with it on, right? And so I think that as we talk about being in, not of, being in a culture, what does that mean? I became all things to all men so I can save some. And I think the issue I'm seeing right now in today's society in America, with Christians particularly, we're willing to judge cultures we're not willing to become. You want to judge from the outside and not go in. You'll mention statistics and mention and data, not understand there's people behind those statistics and people behind those data. So it was very tough because we were doing something so countercultural that Christians had to accept us with a caveat, and it's like, I mean, I like when you say that bar, but bro, they're cursing behind you. Talk that you know what I'm saying? Oh, get them on stuff like that. And it's like, yo, I want to post the clip, but how are you friends with sinners? And it's just like, yeah, you're eating and drinking with sinners. Yeah, got me. You got Jesus too, right? And so I think it's tough because on our end, the burden is to understand that we're in the culture and in the midst of that, not be of the culture, you know? And I think that because it's such a unique ministry, what happens with unique ministries is there's an assumption of, and so you're hesitant to support because you assume the of rather than just the in. Now of course the of is always a resisting and a temptation of anybody who does ministry, like the enemy wants you to become of that rather than just in it. And so that's a constant wrestle, a constant struggle of existing in a unique space. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that we've represented perfectly within the space. Like the enemy's on our heels. Like we have survived off of the discipline, of the diligence of the prayers of the saints for us, to not become of the culture. But I do think that we definitely got a lot of pushback initially, and to this day we still do. There's people that call us out and stuff like that, not even having a single conversation with us or even wanting to. They just judge and assume. But like I said, it's from the outside. So I definitely get the pushback, and I definitely get the degree of separation that comes with what we're doing as unique. Because, and I don't mean to just say this like flippantly or like, as a gotcha, but I see that the same thing happened to Jesus.
No, that's true. That's true. I think it's just to add to that, it's the issue of like how people interpret that gets so choppy in between those lines. But no, that is definitely a good explanation. Okay, so then you kind of painted a picture of what these spaces are like, which is especially helpful, I think, for people watching. But my next question would be, who are the four horsemen?
Four Horsemen is the saga, and the Four Horsemen is Street Hymns. The Four Horsemen is A Ward, and the Four Horsemen is Loso. So Saga, Loso, A Ward, and myself, Street Hymns. And we all represent the hip hop culture and Christian hip hop culture and Christianity within battle rap in a unique way.
Okay. Um, so like, especially I wanted to get to the heart of that post, which is like, and especially because I was trying to go through your comments and other people's comments to exactly, yo, I gotta do my research, bro. But
Absolutely, man. Look, look.
it's part of the job, man. It's part of the job. But especially too because obviously don't want to misrepresent uh, what people are saying, or if I am, correct me just to make sure we're staying on the same page. Um, but
Yeah.
like, do you think like Christians like looked down on you guys were doing, or looked at you guys like differently? You know what I mean? Like, especially like being in that like space.
No, I don't think so. I don't think, like I said, we've experienced pushback, we've experienced hardships, but we have a very beautiful fan base of Christians who support us. We have a very beautiful fan base of people in Christian hip hop who support us. You know, Saga's post wasn't about the fans. Saga's post wasn't about people that support in the sense of, are they encouraging us? Are they helping us? Are they showing up to our shows? Are It was about inclusion in things that are CHH. And to be included in things that are CHH mean you must be a mover or shaker or a person who is essentially like or a gatekeeper, right? When it comes to that aspect of Christian hip hop, yes, we haven't experienced a lot of support within that space. And there's a myriad of reasons why that is the case. You know, a lot of Christian hip hop spaces are predominantly music based. And despite the fact we do make music, we don't have a lot of viral songs, you know, and so somebody may look at, oh, well, the Horsemen aren't getting as much music spins, so what could they actually potentially offer from a music standpoint? That's a fair criticism. That's a fair analysis. You know, I could feel like I have the dopest Christian hip hop Christmas album ever, you know, but if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's cool.
Yeah.
The issue I have is that Christian hip hop as a space where conferences were done, where festivals were done, where worship time was done, it wasn't just surrounded by a genre. You have pastors that showed up. You'd have spoken word artists that showed up. You'd have speakers come through. You'd have professors that would join in. You'd have churches that would fund. You'd have programs. It was an entity that got to be fueled or amped by Christian hip hop, the rap aspect, right? And so when you have a group of four individuals who have not just done music and did pretty good in it here and there, but are internationally known spoken word artists, you know, two biblical degrees graduates, you know, who speak and teach, preachers. We have performers who not just do just battle rap, but also do other elements of rap performance. You know, it's not just we're simply just rappers. You know, I've taught discipleship classes in conferences. I have taught different types of sessions within encouraging and teaching and apologetics. You know, like this is I feel like when you simply limit it either just to even just to just music, like, yo, y'all don't make dope music. Cool. That's an opinion and that's respected, because I'm not going to take away nobody's opinion. But I think that the thing is for us understanding that, number one, people that are making these claims that like the value's not there, I think they're putting themselves up here when really they're up here. Fam, we talking about like, I understand, like, bro, we are some of the biggest artists within the space, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of our audience isn't saved, which funny enough is what a lot of Christian rappers are saying they desire for their platforms. So what if there was a collaboration? Then you could be more evangelical with your ministry, because what you do see in a lot of what Christian people do when they come together, the people that's showing up are Christians. That's not a bad thing. That space is needed. The space where we encourage the body, the space where we need to gather in. But what I loved about things like the Legacy Conference was, by the time the conference ended, what we did was hit the streets and took what we learned and made sure that we applied it in the natural, you know, and not just making it a supernatural experience for worship It's like, no, the worship is including the evangelism, and so I just think that I don't know. I think that because of how the conversation got brought up over a simple fake video game at joint, I get it. It was silly. Like that is silly, because it was a silly moment. But within a silly moment, a straw breaking a camel's back is still a straw that broke it. So Saga was emotionally fueled to speak up and be like, man, like it's just funny how people who have the ability to make publications, but the ability to make conferences, the ability to make festivals, the ability to make uh, movements don't include a Christian movement that you're all aware of, but don't think to consider us within when it comes to developing your programs.
I see. Okay. Okay. So then, okay. Yeah, because I mean, I'm gonna clip this out anyways, but I know I saw Jared Sanders comment in rebuttal, and he mentioned something like an AI about an AI clip. But this is how the whole thing got started. Like it was a video game AI.
Yeah, so A Ward funny. So A Ward was involved in like this little Def Jam Vendetta, like people make some like, the WWE, and then you'll have Sue Surf come out as a WWE character and do his intro and stuff like that. That should be freaking them like, the AI can do that stuff, and the video games like do that. And so there was like this Def Jam Vendetta joint where A Ward was a Def Jam Vendetta character representing Kansas City, right?
Okay.
Maybe I don't know if this is true or not, but I think Mr. Cutright saw that and then got inspired to do his own one for Christian hip hop, right? Or if not, he by his own creativity decided to do a Def Jam Vendetta inspired Christian hip hop collective thing, right? Where it wasn't just Christian rappers, you had other movements within it,
Hmm.
and so mind you, we're one of the biggest Christian rap movements. you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Within the genre. And if you know of our existence, then we should at least be a thought or at least be considered. And if we're not being considered, it's okay, but it's something that should be recognized that I'm not saying he did that intentionally, but when he created a collective of different groups of rappers, the four horsemen were included.
I see. Okay.
Now, I didn't take offense to that.
Hmm.
I'm Shams. I'm rarely ever included. I went viral for a SpongeBob bar. I get cooked every week, Doodle Bob, right?
Hmm.
I'm cool like with with the criticisms and being left out of stuff and being put in stuff I really don't want to be put in. It comes with the territory. But with Saga, he felt it. And I got why he felt it. I was like, yeah, that's fair. You know what I'm saying? Like to be one of the biggest Christian hip hop groups within the genre, but when it comes down to being included, we're not thought of in that sense. And like I said, the fact that we wouldn't be thought of goes to show that there is something there. It's not intentional. It's not out of spite. It's not. I just think that because of the space we live in and how niche of a niche it is, as Jared Sanders would say, easy to either forget or not even think to consider to include. And all we're saying is we'd like to be included. That's all we're saying. We'd like to be included. Cause yo, if it's ever, bro, Christian hip, bro, this is my DNA, fam. Like for real. Like Deuce grew up, like I grew up and Deuce was in my house. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up in cross movement I was nephew to them, I call all of them uncle. They had dinners after their concerts at my house. My dad was doing street ministry. Like Deuce lived with my father at age 19. Virgil lived with my mom and dad at age 19. You know what I'm saying? Like true life. Like cross movement, Christian hip hop. I grew up in it. I have tape cassettes of cross movement records that still exist in my household today that never came out. You know what I'm saying? So this is something that it's ingrained in my DNA. My dad had me on stage at age 4 performing Christian hip hop. You know,
Oh,
teaching kids the books of the Bible at age 10. I've been doing that. Like I've been involved in this. I will never disrespect the genre. I will never, because it's me. I wouldn't be who I am without it. You feel me? And so like I've never asked for handouts. I've never asked for anything. Everything that has come my way has been natural. Everything that's come my way has been beautiful. Like God has definitely shown me by the closed doors and open doors how He's always had me within this. And of course you have in mind what you'd like from the genre and in mind what you'd like from people. But man, you can ask anybody if I've ever asked them for anything. But
Mm.
I've been in most of the rooms. I've been in most of the conversations. I was there when my first year of college in Philadelphia, PBU, Philadelphia Biblical University at the time, it's now called Cairn. They had a hip hop summit with Cross Movement, Truth, Shaolin, Trip Lee. Uh, everybody's there in one space talking about the state of Christian hip hop. And you look at the pictures, I'm sitting there posted up. You know, you then fast forward, and it's constantly like that. So for me, I respect the genre so much. I respect the platform so much. I respect the people so much. I respect the history and the legacy, patriarch so much. I can't speak down on it. And because of my love for it so much, to see where it can continue to go with the new gen and next gen, like doing it, while also understanding that battle rap can hold and should hold space within where it can go. Because here's the thing, bro. Solo, if we don't start to get included, the danger that can happen is it can end with us.
Yeah. Oh, okay, okay.
We'll be the last to do it, not the first to do it. Why would that? Why? Like, we are wanting to pave the generation that comes after us. Yeah, A Ward's dope, but I know there's somebody better than A Ward that can come up after him. Yeah, Street Hymns is dope, but I want to help build up the next fire lyricist that does a deck tuple entendre. I don't know if that's how you say it, you know, but for me, I'm like, if we think we're it, then we missed the point, right? But how else can we grow and build if we're not even being first considered? And that's my thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not about wanting a platform or wanting to be put on. You can't put us on nothing. We're already on. We just want to work together. You know what I'm saying? It's not about getting up. We're not. And this is what I will say did annoy me was in the comment section, people making these things like, oh, well, well, if a Christian rapper wants a feature from some, like, bro, this ain't music. We're not talking about music. We're not talking about, hey, fam, we're like salty rappers that couldn't get a feature from KB. Nah, fam, it ain't that. This is KB level talking to another person on the same level. You know what I'm saying? Trip Lee. And I may not be, we may not be KB Trip Lee within the music space, but we're that within the space as comparison to where we're at in battle rap. You know, as far as icon status, as far as celebrity status, right? We don't flaunt it in that essence, but at the end of the day, that's the reality, you know. And we're not trying to hold it over anybody's head or something, but we're just saying, like, within the work we've put in, we haven't gotten that. We've gotten used to it, but that don't mean we like it. You know what I'm saying? And just because something that is the way it is, when we see it could potentially be something else, rather than just saying, well, be content with what you do have. Y'all have success in the lane you have it in. You're doing great already. You know, why would you want more? Because more means fellowship. More isn't just we're on stage in a bigger stage. Bro, fam, like, you look at my track record. My track record isn't all big stages. If there is a local conference and it's a small conference, I'm discipling the next generation of young Christian hip hop artists. You know what I'm saying? Mike Mack's conference, you know, the Elevation Conference. I was there as a discipleship teacher for the next generation.
Oh,
You know,
oh, yeah, I see a lot of people come through those. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That was my role last year. I was supposed to do this year, but I just got too busy. But I love doing that, and I
yeah, I love
speak
what you're doing. Yeah,
on behalf of Christian hip hop, even though I'm a battle rapper, but I have more to offer than just battle rap and then just music. Because at the end of the day, there's still wisdom. You know, I'm starting to get my grades, bro. You know, and for me, this is a sign that I need to be investing. You know what I'm saying? And we want to invest, but in order to invest, we got to be included. You know, and not to say we can't do it on our own. I have my own discipleship classes at my house. I have my own but I would love to do it within something that's in my DNA, which is Christian hip hop, because I love it so much. I have a lot to offer, and we have a lot to offer. We can give to Christian hip hop, you know. But if we're not being viewed as valuable to a conference, to a festival, to a movement, it's like I get. Here's the thing: I really do understand why it's like that. I just wish it wasn't.
right. That was flawless. Two things I want to add to that, like especially before we get to the last question. Um, But one thing I want to say is definitely when you brought up, I guess, like how essentially Christian battle rap, it's not the same as making music and or not, forgetting even Christian, especially when I was diving into the making of Keyshawn's series. What I learned is that being a battle rapper and being a rapper, it's not the same thing for me, and that's what made to me what made Keyshawn like very like special and unique is that like
Kill both.
it's it's yeah like it's or there's I'm pretty sure there's other artists but it's like it's but the whole point is like it's not easy to transition from battle rap and going one on one with someone to like pouring your heart out on a track like those are two different things
Exactly.
and so when you throw that in and then marketing and then so many other things those they're just two different worlds so I see where especially where you're coming from with how you're not looking for a bigger stage because y'all already got it I mean like you had your run with I mean like being in that space and having the whole viral doodle bop thing you know what I mean or you know what I mean like or I even
Or going on tour, an international tour throughout 26 different cities with Poach and Autumn as
yeah
battle rappers.
yeah
You know what I'm saying? And selling out multiple cities. Like the pool is there. The desire is there. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
The talent is there. Now, mind you, this isn't just rappers transit. We were first rappers, then we transitioned to battle rap, then we transitioned to spoken word. And
mm,
we're showing a consistency and excellence in all of those aspects,
right
which all fall under the umbrella of Christian hip hop, you know? And
mm,
so to have this level of excellence that we know we're doing on our end and then not be considered, I could see why somebody could feel a type of way about it. I
right
don't feel as strongly as Saga does, but I
mm,
understand.
I understand yeah
I hate the fact that people weren't willing to empathize. That's
mm.
me. I was like, yo, hear my brother's pain and don't just brush it off as a joke.
Yeah, we're hoping to fix that up in the next few days, man. You know what I mean? And then sorry, I wanted to add to that too. Like I know you had your run, and then Los too. I mean, like that was a name out here. He had viral moments as well. Like everybody did their thing, but it was
Yeah.
just crazy. But because yeah, it was just crazy because I didn't know all you guys were connected. Like all four of y'all were connected. So that's definitely why I definitely wanted to push it out. And yeah, to your point, like yeah, like don't not let it die out, man. Like um really show people like there's a whole world of this out there. So I definitely want to just add that. And also, oh, sorry, my second point was that when you bring up infrastructures and everything like that, like it makes sense like because there's like there's different infrastructures you were trying to differentiate between not just like the social media side, but also like the physical structures like the conferences, the whole entire complex really. Like you know what I mean because that's especially what you've seen more of than I have
Yeah.
I'm more online, right? But even online, it's. I mean, I had a conversation with another artist about it. It's very apparent online, but in my role, and especially with what I'm trying to do, is that I want to democratize the space. You know what I mean? Just because I think CHS for the longest time, it's been very much monopolized.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Or like the danger of it being monopolized can pop up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like here and there. So for me, it's like covering different stories or artists. It's like that's my way of kind of just like balancing out the space with whatever I can do. You know what I mean? Like Eric from Proper Excel, like he like I'm blessed to work with him.
Yeah.
'Cause there's not a lot of people I can work with, especially being from a videography background. Like I hate working with clients, especially who do too much. So me and Eric, like it's a great partnership to have that I'm blessed to have. But yeah, overall, yeah, no. This is me just trying to like in the hopes kind of like just balance and correct, you know what I mean, the narrative. So
Man. And I
um
just want to, you know what I'm saying, tip my hat off to you, bro. Like you're an amazing journalist, bro.
thank you.
Don't consider yourself as a journalist, bro, but I've seen your diligence within the field and the amount of study and the amount of hours you put in to understand before you speak. Even to the extent of what I'm understanding from you is like you won't speak until you have a level of understanding. It's like you'll let it fester and like, hey, before I just come out and just say something crazy, let me think on this for a little bit, which is rare in the internet space where it's like, oh, I got to be the first to break this news. It's like, no, I want to be the first to understand this news. And so
Yeah.
shout out to you,
That's a
bro.
bar. Yeah, that's a bar. No, no, thank you. No, for sure. Yeah, there's so many topics out there. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to speak on everything, but you should definitely try to at least understand it first. So,
Yeah.
um,
And I will say, I know
mm,
it's a closing statement, but
mm,
as the horseman, um, a challenge to us. We could do better with how we market ourselves as a brand and as a unit. It's a little different because we're in 4 different states, in 4 different spread out cities: New York, Kansas City, Tampa, and in Texas. We're literally all throughout the states. And so when we do get together, we try to find those moments where I'll fly to London and Saga flies to London to support A Ward's moment, or we'll fly to New York to support Saga, or we'll fly to Tampa to support, but this is life, and so there's aspects in which, even though we might show up in the same spaces, there are instances where people who are supporters of us as individuals still don't understand us as a brand. And if someone doesn't understand your brand, that's on the artist, that's on us, so it's not a thing where, like I said, we get why there is confusion, but confusion doesn't exist in those movers and shakers.
Yep.
The confusion doesn't exist in the people that have the ability to set the platform. They know who we are, and they know what we are. It's the fans misunderstanding. And if they're considering not involving or not including or not even considering us because of our lack of presentation in our brand, that just goes to show we can do a better job of branding ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We can do a better job of presenting ourselves as a brand and presenting ourselves as people that aren't just excellent and talented and cool and popular, but no, it's like we're actually structured. We're actually foundational. We're actually a unit. And so 2026, just look forward to us doing a better job of presenting ourselves as a unit and a brand that can bring something to enhance a conference and enhance a festival, enhance a teaching session, enhance a brand, etc. So
Yeah, you definitely.
also, my views and how I presented this may not be the exact same way that the other three present this. This is me. I think 90% of it they'd say the way I said it, but potentially give credence for the fact that I may be deviating from the group. So
Yeah, no. Well, we'll see what more comments say. But sorry, I did have one more question. I definitely wanted to give it. Which is definitely a great way to wrap it up, man. But it's like, I mean, like, what's the fruit y'all have seen out of this form of, like, basically mission work? You know what I mean? Because people always say this expression of, like, being a missionary in your backyard instead of going overseas, and this is literally a literal example of it, right? You know what I mean? Like, what is the fruit y'all have seen out of this form of mission work, if there's, you know what I mean, if any?
man, so battle rap has been a very much sowing ministry, and as a sower, rarely do you actually get to see the fruits of your label harvest. And there are rare moments when we as horsemen have been able to see a harvest, to see the fruits of our labor, of the seeds we've sown, and that could be as simple as, hey fam, I know I don't believe in God, but can you pray for me? Fam, like, could you show up to this baby shower, man? Like, could you bless? Hey, do you think you could be the officiant for our wedding? You know what I'm saying? And moments like that, and then bigger moments where, like, I don't know if you remember Keyshawn versus Leo, his very first battle, Leo the Lion,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and he's like, Rio, I'm off the cat, Leo. You know what I'm saying? I'm off the cat, Rio. It's crazy. So Leo, before he passed away a few years back, uh, it was interesting going to his funeral because I got to see the side that his church saw. And I remember Leo saying this at one point in time. We were on Snapchat when I had Snapchat a year before he passed away. Passed away in his sleep, and the day before a battle. It's crazy. But he hit me up and he was like, hey, I just want to encourage you, man. Like, I started serving in my youth ministry again, and it's because I saw you serving in your church and you helped me get back in church.
Wow.
I remember my first battle. When I went to my first battle, I saw Leo outside smoking a black and mild. I was like, what's up, fam? He's like, yo, what's up, man? You about to battle? I was like, yeah, I'm doing my first battle. He's like, what's your rap name? I said, Street Hymns. He said, oh, you want that Christian rap shit? I was like, yeah. He laughed. After
Yeah.
that, he saw me rap. We became friends. He wasn't a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
At his funeral, I remember the pastor saying, for a while, Leo left, but he was our prodigal son because he came back.
That's crazy.
And for me, not having all the pieces together, but finally getting it at the end of his story, and then others tell it, I was like, Lord, like, whether or not I was the call to salvation verbally with him, like, hey, do you want to accept the Lord Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? I was at least a Bible that he could physically look at through my life and our interaction with each other as friends. So there are moments where, you do get to see individuals have interactions that they just want the light and the warmth that comes with the light. And then you have interactions with people who is like, yo, I want to join that. I've seen conversions and I've seen people that just want prayer. And so those are some of the fruits that we've been able to experience as the horsemen.
That's great fruit. That's amazing. That
Yeah.
is, and that's yeah. I mean, like honestly, I'm probably just gonna take this too, and I mean, like aside from the making it like a small video on proper, so I'm probably just gonna take this and put it up on the channel, on YouTube, just because yeah, people gotta know the heart of it, man.
Yeah, let's get it,
Yeah,
man. Let's get it.
yeah,
Anybody that actually want that smoke, you know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, we really do this. We really do this.
yeah, for sure, man.
I'm talking about battle rap. I'm talking about Christian hip hop, whatever's. If you want to chop it up, you want to have a conversation. I'm always down for conversations, man. Even if we disagree, we can be cordial. We can be, I think great creation and great movement forward is found in great conflict. Iron sharpening iron, sparks are gonna fly. So I don't mind starting a little fire.
I like that saying. I like that saying a lot. Thank you so much for coming on, man. And I don't know if you still do battle rap, but like, what do you do outside of that? Like, you're legit a full-time artist making manga, or that's
Yeah,
your that's
currently,
your
yeah, bro. Like, I mean, full time in the aspect of it takes up.
Oh yeah, it
Most
does. Yeah,
of
yeah,
my
yeah. I
time.
know that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I'm saying full time. It takes up most of my time.
No, yeah,
Being signed to a publisher and creating books, you obviously don't start really getting paid until you actually release the book and then start getting royalties. My company takes care of me, but uh, I haven't really gotten to see the real fruits of my labor until we actually release it. So we're sowing a lot of seeds. So I'm actually working on uh, writing another manga as the manga I've already written is being drawn. So yeah, I've kind of just fallen in love with the art of storytelling. You know, um, yeah, and writing manga has been something that has now I feel like has become easy because I understand it now. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So yeah, I've fallen in love with the genre, and that's taken up a lot of time. But obviously, if there's ever a point in time where I got to pay bills, I'll go substitute teach. And the little homie,
Yeah.
because in between time, like substitute teaching is something where if I get booked for a show and I got to be gone for 3 days, I can clock out. You know what I'm saying? If I gotta, you know, go and do a conference, I can be gone. And I have a lot of stuff lined up for next year, but also, I'm never scared to put my hands to the plow. So, um, yeah, most of my time is spent writing, but in between that, I try to be active in, um, discipleship, local church, and community. It's been a struggle as of recent these last couple months, but definitely knowing that's a standard, I gotta do better on that as well.
But thank you so much, Mitch. Thank you for your
All
time.
good, all good. Shout out to the street hymns, doing
Yeah,
hymns because the streets need him. Shout out to Proper XL. Let's get it.
let's get it, man. All right.